right, friends, welcome back here. We're at the top of the third inning. And a 1-0 game. The Moosehead Drive breaking through in the bottom of the second. Matt Dudelet scoring on an RBI signal by Dan Camo. Jeff McKinnon, Duncan McDougall. Back to the top of the order with Chris Farrow. Here's McDougall. Or Jeff McKinnon, sorry. We're still working on that second camera for you, folks. So hopefully, might have it coming up for you here soon. That pitch inside. Here's your 2-2 pitch. Pitch just outside. So 3-2. McKinnon, the right fielder. Matt McDonald, a little touched up a little bit there in the second inning. They got a couple hits against him. One hit, one left on base. That pitch by McKinnon strikes out McKinnon. So that's the second strikeout here for McKinnon, or for McDonald, sorry. A lot of Max here. McDonald strikes out McKinnon, and here comes McDougall. McDougall, the DH. Left-handed bat is Duncan. You gotta get a wind going about 10 to 15 kilometers from left to right on your screen. There's your ball inside. 1-0. Again, yesterday the doubleheader, the Dry sweeping 5-1 and 12-4, leading 1-0 here. We're back on the air Tuesday night. Truro against Halifax from the mainland common. Hopefully this time we don't get fogged out. Actually calling for rain on Tuesday as well, so keep note of that. But we'll be there, and hopefully the game will be played as well. Truro and the Canadians. 3-0 count coming up. So 3-0 pitch to McDougall. All right, down the pipe, 3-1. And we'll see if McDonald can work his way back. High. And there's a base runner for the Sooners in the form of Duncan McDougall. Give him a walk. That's the first base on balls offered here by Matt McDonald. Here's Chris Farrow. He struck out looking in the first inning. So again, we're moving slowly along here. The Dry have had a couple long innings at bat. Only one run to show for it. Sooners looking to get back on the road to Sydney with a win. There's your first strike here on Chris Farrow. Camo playing in on the grass down there at third base. Hesitating and picked off over there at first base. Stumbling to get back was McDougall. Got caught leaning the wrong way, and then as he tried to get back, kind of stumbled. He was out by a mile over there on the pickoff. So McDonald picks off McDougall. And now nobody left on base for Chris Farrow. There's your 0-1 pitch. That's just inside, 1-1 now. So base is empty for Farrow. That's popped down the first base line and into the stands. Greg West did give chase over there, but no luck. So 1-2 pitch. Only one hit given up so far by McDonald, a single to Matt Denny. Actually, I get to read my notes wrong. I think Denny, or no hits yet given up. By McDonald. 2-2 pitch coming up. And a wicked curveball by McDonald. And once again, Chris Farrow hasn't had an answer for that curveball. That's the second time that he has struck out looking on that big hook by McDonald. So no hits, none left on base. The big play, the pickoff throw. Matt McDonald picking off McDougall after he got the walk. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Phillips, Stevens, and Harrison coming up here for the dry. All right, friends, welcome back. We start our third inning, or the bottom of the third, sorry. 1-0 for the dry. They've threatened
the bottom half of the third inning
in every inning. Had the big threat in the first inning with the bases loaded with the one out, and it looked like Ionetti was going to escape the second inning, no problem, but a walk. And then a seeing eye single by Dan Como, and that brought home Matt Doodley, and that's where we stand here, 1-0. As Mark Phillips swings away at one. Phillips, the right fielder. Ionetti beginning his third inning of work. Catching the high part of the strike zone, and now 0-2 here on Phillips, so an early hole. Now, Phillips started out 0-2 in his first at-bat, and then battled back to work to get a walk on the next four pitches. punches that one down the first baseline, and no problem down there for Justin Brewer. He'll take it himself. Phillips the first out of the inning.
The catcher, number 35, Justin Stevens.
Here's Justin Stevens. Stevens flew out to left field in the first inning. Or, sorry, struck out looking in the first. Pitch high. There's your 1-0 pitch. Ionetti pitches from the stretch. That pitch caught the outside corner. So painting the corner there is Ionetti. There's your 1-1 pitch coming up. Big curveball, and Stevens misses it by a mile. 1-2. Second and short, playing on the grass out there in the infield. Stevens stays alive, just punches that one out of play. So 1-2 coming up on Brewer. Ionetti has settled down nicely since the first inning. Here comes your 1-2. And swinging through it is Brewer. Or Stevens, sorry. That's the second strikeout for Stevens. So here's Harrison.
Designated hitter number 33, Scott Harrison.
0 for 1 is Harrison. Grounded out to finish that first inning, left 3 men stranding. As I mentioned, Harrison had the 2-run homer yesterday. Catches the outside corner. Having good luck painting that outside black is Ionetti. Here comes your 0-1. In on the hands, and over the top of it is Harrison. And Ionetti really settling into a nice groove here. Here's your 0-2. That is high. Ionetti wastes one. 1 strike away from moving on to the 4th inning. Kenny Long, Corey Christie, and Justin Brewer. Heart of the order coming up for the Sooners. To second base. And no problem for Josh Forrest. So 4-3 goes Scott Harrison. And 3 up, 3 down go the Moosehead Dry.
Moosehead Dry, the bottom half of the 3rd inning. After 3 innings of
No
play,
hits, no left on base, or none left on base.
1, Sydney, no score.
Score remains 1-0. On the RBI single by Dan Comeau. Let's go to the 4th inning. Kenny Long, Corey Christie, and Justin Brewer coming up here for the Sooners. I know. Yeah. All right, friends, welcome back. Starting the top of the fourth inning. And we have your expanded coverage for you. We're got our second camera working. So camera girl Isabel Germain down there. Working your third base camera. We start the fourth inning of a good one. So settle in, pull up a chair, as Vin Scully used to say. Fourth inning action coming up on a beautiful late May Sunday afternoon here in Dartmouth. Bouncing ball, Como played it right off the second bounce, and Greg West couldn't come up with it though. And we'll see what the call there is on Como.
Number 16, third baseman, Corey Christie.
So Dan Como made a nice play, made the right play on the bunt, charged it, but then couldn't get the throw safely to Greg West. And Ken Long down there at first. And here's Corey Christie. 2 singles, a double, 2 RBIs yesterday for Christie. There's a ball out to center field. Chris Head gets under it. No problem there for Chris. That one hung up.
Number 29, first baseman, Justin Brewer.
So Christie flies to center. Here's Justin Brewer. He grounded out to shortstop back in the second inning. Big first baseman. At first base down there is Long. Swinging through that pitch. There's Justin Brewer. Matt Denny will follow. And Josh Forrest, should somebody reach here. Here's your 0-1 pitch. Matt McDonald out for his fourth inning, and that is in the dirt for strike 2. Swinging through that, again, is Forrest. Or Brewer, sorry. There's a good look at beautiful Beasley Field. Again, good baseball weather here for the players. Not so much maybe for the fans, a little cooler, but pretty much perfect baseball weather here on a Sunday afternoon in Dartmouth. And another strike. Strike 3 there on Brewer. I think Justin will feel like he just swung at 3 balls maybe there in a row. Each pitch was down low and off the plate. And Justin swings through each one. So that's the 4th strikeout of the game for Justin Brewer. Or for Matt McDonald, sorry. Here's Matt Denny. Matt reached first in the second on the fielder's choice. Hit into a routine double play ball, but the throw went over the head of Greg West for an error. So still down at first is Ken Long. That pitch is tight and inside for ball 2. Remember to reach out to us, community1sports@gmail.com, and on Twitter, B. McLean Sports. Bouncing down the third base line, that's foul. So the count goes to 2-1. It's in the top of the 4th. There's Denny. Shares catching responsibilities with Sean Ferguson. Getting the start here in the Third game again. The Sooners trying to avoid the sweep. Lost both games yesterday. That's inside. In on the hands there of Denny. He fouls it off. And we'll go to 2-2. 2 outs, 2-2 count in the top of the fourth. Matt McDonald 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Not a lot of luck so far for the Sooners. Getting runners into scoring position. Here's your 2-2, a big curveball, and just staying alive on it was Denny. Actually hung in there pretty good, but got under it, and it'll foul off the backstop. So they'll do it again here on your 2-2 pitch for Denny. Here comes your 2-2. Strike 3, swinging through that and applying the tag will be Justin Stevens. So back-to-back strikeouts to end this one for Matt McDonald. Give him 5 strikeouts. Justin Brewer and Matt Denny having a hard time with those inside pitches. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with you with the bottom of the fourth for the dry. Gallivan, Harding, and Matt Dudelay coming up. Here we go in the bottom of the fourth. Back on Bell Alliant Community One, your leader in local sports webcasting in Atlantic Canada. Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League all season long right here on Community One. Our second game of the season. It's the Sooners and the Dry. Here's Chris Gallivan. This takes inside on the first pitch. Back out for his fourth inning of work is Anthony Iannetti. That pitch high and outside, so a nice count here for Chris Gallivan. Iannetti has really settled down here over the last couple innings. 2-0 pitch there for Gallivan, but he bounces one pretty harmlessly to short, and no problem. Over there for Chris Farrow.
Number 30, Matt Harding.
So 6-3 goes Gallivan. And here's Matt Harding. Matt Harding grounded out to third in the second inning. So 0 for 1 is Matt. Matt Dudelay would follow, or will follow. Chris Head, the top of the order, should somebody reach. Bottom of the fourth. Good one so far. A pitcher's battle here from Beasley. Hello out there to our friends in Dubai. That is awesome stuff. Great to have you with us. Make sure you reach out to us, B. McLean Sports on Twitter and community1sports@gmail.com. Let us know where you're watching from. There's a curveball for a strike. So Dubai, great to have you guys with us. Sunday afternoon here in Dartmouth. One of the wonderful things about doing these broadcasts is having you guys with us all the way from long locations like that. Glad you're enjoying. Hope you're enjoying anyways. That one fouled off down the first base line and out into the stands by Matt Harding. So here's your 1-2 pitch coming up now from Matt Harding. 1-0 for the Dry. Again, Dudelet scored the run on the RBI single by Dan Comeau. The 1-2 to Harding. Here comes Iannetti. And again, fouled high and in play, actually, out there in a right field. And retired is Matt Harding. So Harding pops out to right field. There's your second out. And here comes Matt Dudelet, who scored the run. That inning started very harmlessly for the Dry. They got 2 outs, or had 2 outs, and then Dudelet looked like he was going to ground out to second base, and then it took a wicked hop off the infield grass, went over the head of the second baseman Forrest, and Dudelet would eventually come around to score again on the single by Como. So 1-0 for Dudelet. Again, he's one of the guys been with this program for a long time, both at the junior level and now with the seniors. Matt Dudelet plays third and a little bit of short as well. In off the hands, and that is deep out into center field. On the track, though, is Phil Brown. He'll pull it in. And retired. 3 up, 3 down are the Moosehead Dry. So let's stay with you here throughout this break. I remind you that you're on Bell Alliant Community 1. And you can reach out to us on Twitter, whether you're watching locally or in Dubai. And this is Roberta Head. Thank you very much, Roberta, watching from River Ryan. Glad you're enjoying. Roberta Head watching in River Ryan. Thank you so much for being with us. Chris Head coming up in the top of the 5th. Well, thank you very much, Roberta, and our friends in Dubai for reaching out to us so far. Again, B. McLean Sports on Twitter, community1sports@gmail.com. We are live and interactive on Bell Alliant Community 1, your leader in local sport webcasting in Atlantic Canada. Nova Scotia Senior Baseball all summer long on the network. This weekend, or this Tuesday night, we are back at Mainland Common in Halifax for the Bearcats. And the Canadians. Truro Bearcats, our first look at the Bearcats this year against the Canadians. That's Tuesday night from Mainland Common. First pitch, 7:30. Weather permitting, of course. And there's a forecast for rain, 60% chance of showers right now. So we'll see what happens. But we'll be there, and if there is baseball, it will be live on Bell Alliant. Let us know how it looks, how it sounds. Got our second camera working here for you. And we'll go to the top of the 5th inning.
Second baseman number 44, Josh Forrest.
All right, so let's start the top of the 5th. Josh Forrest, Phil Brown, and Jeff McKinnon coming up. And McDonald back out there to work. He's been dealing. Pitching a shutout so far. So had the curveball working. And it's low and in the dirt. 1-1. So a good one here from Beasley Field. Pitcher's duel after the offensive explosions yesterday. 5-1 game and a 12-4 game. McDonald has been dealing, and Anthony Iannetti of the champs, the Sooners, has really settled down. That pitch is high and over the head of Forrest. 2-1. Chris heads slightly to right field here, out there in center. And there's a pop out to right field. Should be no problem. It is. For Mark Phillips. So Josh Forrest pops out. Here's your first out in the inning. Here comes Phil Brown.
Center fielder number 24, Phil Brown.
Brown grounded out to first to end the second inning in his first at bat. Brown, the center fielder, he's been busy and been very good so far, operating second or center field for the Sooners. Again, emails, tweets, keep them coming. Pitch inside. And remember to spread the word. Nova Scotia Senior League Baseball. All summer long here on Bell Alliant. Let your friends know and retweet us and get the word out there so we can get a lot of people watching this. 2-0. Pitch right down the middle, so a 2-1. Brown taking all the way. Isabelle Germain, our camera girl down there on the third baseline, one of the great sports broadcasters in Atlantic Canada. And strike two, so fighting his way back here is McDonald. A 2-2 pitch coming up for Phil Brown. Emails coming in. Read those here in a second. No outs. Here in the top of the fifth. Here comes your 2-2, McDonald. And just off the outside of the plate, we'll go to a full count. This is Ariane Lozier. Thank you very much, Ariane Lozier, watching in Trackety. So all the way from Trackety, New Brunswick, and Sheila. Great to have you guys with us. Your full count pitch. Bouncing ball down the third base line. That's going to be tough for Como. It'll go foul. That's the second time that ball has just danced down that third base line, and the third baseman has had to make a quick decision as to what to do. So the full count pitch, they'll do it again. McDonald to Brown. So Sheila in Trackety, thank you very much. And Anne-Marie Brewer and family watching in North Sydney, Cape Breton. Great to have you guys with us from North Sydney. That's popped down the first base line or into the stands, I should say, here at Beasley. So the Brewer family in North Sydney. And there's a walk. So Phil Brown works a walk.
Right fielder number 14, Jeff McKinnon.
He's down there at first with one out. Jeff McKinnon. Jeff struck out in the third inning. Halfway through this one. There is McKinnon. McDonald from the stretch. Just inside and low. So again, after the two losses yesterday in the doubleheader, the champs are starting to settle down here in this one halfway through it. Never really in either of those games yesterday. Of course, talking to some of the players before the game, it was freezing cold here last night. They had to finish off that doubleheader a 6 o'clock start. And it was frigid at Beasley. A 12-4 ball game. They played all 9 innings, so that was a long night for the Sooners. A 2-1 pitch coming up here on McKinnon. That is low, and McKinnon has worked it to a 3-1 count. So with 1 out, the Sooners have something going. Down at first is Phil Brown. He's got a moderate lead. Actually, a little good lead over there now for Brown. High. Just high. And trotting down to first base is McKinnon. So the Sooners are in business. Runners at second and first, only 1 out on 2 walks in a row by McDonald. And back to the top of the order with Chris Farrow. Or sorry, Duncan McDougall, the DH coming up, the 9th hitter. All right.
Designated hitter number 10, Duncan McDougall.
So again, keep them coming. Great to hear from you folks in Trackety and you guys. This is from Neaston. Thank you very much, Neaston. I'm working on it. We got a lot of stuff going on here. Neaston cheering on Anthony Iannetti. Anthony's really settled down. Second and first. And that's a strike on the outside black. Here is McDougall. So friends from Cape Breton checking in on the Twitter and the email. Comes your 0-1. High into the air down the third base line. It looks like Camo's got a chance. He does. So a disappointing at bat there for McDougall. He'll pop out in foul ground for Camo. That's the second out of the inning. Runner still at second and first. Here comes Chris Farrow. Been a tough day. Been a tough day for Chris Farrow. 2 strikeouts, both looking, both on nasty curveballs by Matt McDonald. Keeping Brown close to second down there. That's going to go well over the stands here, down the first base line. This one, 0-1 pitch coming up for Farrow. Here comes your 0-1. Curveball that's just low. Dudelet paying a lot of attention down there at second base to Phil Brown. Chris Farrow asked for time. Farrow looking just to put a ball in play here. It's been a couple tough at-bats for him. Comes your 1-1 from the stretch. And that is low. A fastball low and a 2-1 count for Farrow. 2 outs here, runners at second and first. Kenny Long is in the on-deck circle. Corey Christie in the hole. Here's your 2-1. Bouncing ball to second. And the Dryer going to escape. So no problem down there for Chris Gallivan. And then retire the Sooners in the top of the 5th.
No runs, no hits. There were no Dartmouth errors. 2 Sydney runners left on base.
So 4-3 goes Farrow. He's now 0 for 3. And the Sooners will have to try it again in the 6th inning. We're going to the bottom of the 5th with the Dry still leading 1-0. We're going to take a...
I'm going to fix the other one.
Okay.
Just leave it.
So we're halfway through. Again, a good pitcher's duel here. Only 1 run so far, and that was a manufactured run by the Dry in the bottom of the 2nd. Again, thanks to everybody who reached out on the email, the Brewers, the Loziers, the Heads, and on Twitter, C. Neaston. Great to have you with us. Neaston watching from North Sydney as well. And Ionetti back out there. Anthony, again, he's really done well since some early troubles. Had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 4th. And the 5th, or the 3rd and the 4th. So right now, Ionetti has set down 7 in a row. Back to the top of the order. He's got Head, Camo, and West coming up. Emails. This is from Dubai. Great to hear from you guys. Jay Irvine, Dry alumni. Great to hear from Jay Irvine. Watching from Dubai. Thank you very much for that. Got it hooked up there on the big screen. Hope we can keep it working for you. Jason Irvine, former right fielder with the Dry from Dubai. All right, so Chris Head, he's reached safely. Had 2 at-bats to start the game in the 1st and 2nd inning. Singled in the 1st, got stranded at 3rd, walked in the 2nd. That went off the forearm of Chris. Got inside on him, and he's holding his top right wrist, or left wrist, sorry. And Moosehead Dry fans are hoping he'll shake that one off. He is the straw that stirs the drink on this Dry team. A lot of small bones there on the back of that hand and wrist. Chris takes the glove off. He's going to trot down to first, so in the meantime, or for the meantime, he seems like he's going to be okay. So Head reaches safely for the 3rd time this game. He had a single, the walk, and now the hit by pitch. And here comes Dan Camo. He's got the RBI right now to win this game. A really nice placed single back in the 2nd. Second baseman Forrest was trying to hold the runner, keep the runner close, and Como just punched it through the hole between 1st and 2nd base. I'll throw over there for Chris Head. Of course, this is dangerous territory. Every time Chris Head reaches first, you can almost give him a double. Chances are very good he's going to be standing on 2nd base any moment now. And there he goes. Como swings through it, and Chris Head once again slides in safely. That's his 2nd stolen base of the game. So 2 stolen bases now for Head. He's down there at 2nd base with no outs. So after a couple easy innings for Ionetti, finds himself back into a bit of trouble here. The heart of the order coming up for the Dry, and Speedy Head at 2nd base. No outs. That's off the plate and low, a 1-1 pitch coming up here for Camo. So good times here from Beasley. Friends watching in North Sydney, Trackety, and all the way to Dubai. You guys got us up on the big screen there. Great to hear. Ooh, that's just over the head of Como. You got to fight that natural reaction to get out of the way. If you just stood still, that would have easily gone off the meaty part of the arm. That was a breaking pitch too. But hard to fight that instinct to get out of the way. 2-1 pitch coming up in Como. Chris Head with a decent lead down there at second base. That's right down the pipe. A good pitch by Ionetti, and we're now at 2-2. Greg West will follow. Mark Phillips is in the hole, and Justin Stevens lingering. From the stretch, here's your 2-2. Hanging curveball that Como gets under. Sends it all the way to the gap. Brown can't get there. Chris Head will come around to score. Dan Como is going to have a stand-up double. So Head will trot in for the Moosehead Dry second run. And Dan Como has his second RBI of the game and his second hit.
First baseman number 14, Greg West.
So an RBI double to follow up his RBI single, and Dan Como has driven in the 2 runs of the ballgame. Here's Greg West. West singled back in the first. So a big inning here for Ionetti. He's got to settle down. Try to get out of this with limited damage. On the outside, Black for Ionetti. Their 0-1 pitch coming up for Greg West. So that curveball just hung up there a little bit too long for Ionetti, and Como ripped it out into the gap between right and center. West swings over the top of that one. 0-2 coming up on Greg. Bottom of the fifth, no outs, 0-2 pitch. West back up the middle. Forrest has got to hurry. A nice play by Josh. Double clutched it, but gets it off. And he'll retire West at first. Dan Como will move on to third.
Right fielder number 28, Mark Phillips.
So move Como to third. West out 4-3. That's the first out of the inning. Here's Mark Phillips. Mark walked in the first. Grounded out back in the third. Bouncing ball. Just goes foul down the third base line. So an 0-1 pitch coming up here for Phillips. Infield playing in. Did he go? He did. So 0-2 coming up now for Big Mark. RBI chance for Phillips. Just has to drive one. 0-2 coming up on Phillips from Ionetti. And swinging through. Couldn't hold it. He'll get tagged. And Phillips will go down on strikes. So 2 pitches into the dirt there by Ionetti, and both times Phillips bit.
Catcher number 35, Justin Stevens.
So a big strikeout for Ionetti. Here's Justin Stevens. Stevens, the big catcher, struck out in the third. Struck out looking in the first. So a tough day so far for Big Justin. 0 for 2 with the two strikeouts. One low and inside, 1-0. So again, a great chance for Anthony to get out of an inning with limited damage and keep his team in the game. 1-0. Curveball, and again, Stevens having a real hard time making contact today. Swings over the top of that. Justin Stevens calls time. Here comes your 1-1. Camo at third. This time, Justin, good contact. Here comes Brown, though. He's got that under control in short center field. So Phil Brown makes the play. Stevens now 0 for 3 on the day.
For Dartmouth, in the bottom half of the fifth inning, 1 run, 1
The
hit.
dry strike for another run.
Sydney errors, 1 Dartmouth runner left on base. After 5 complete innings of play, your Dartmouth Moosehead Dry 2.
2 hits,
Sydney, no score.
1 left on base, and 1 run comes across for the Moosehead Dry. 2-0 here. At the end of 5, we'll go to the top of the 6th. Ken Long, Corey Christie coming up. And Justin Brewer, of course. This summer, East Coast Sports Show is all summer long on the network, Bell Alliant Community 1, and on demand on your Bell Alliant Fiber Op package. East Coast Sports Show all summer long on Fiber Op. And next week's show, that'll be coming out the first weekend of June, or the first Monday of June. You can see an interview with Corey Christie. We're going to interview Corey after the game, and you can see that on the show. That's East Coast Sports Show all summer long on Bell Alliant Community 1. Jesse McKenzie, great stuff here. That looks awesome. Jesse's got us up on the big screen with the dog watching and everything. The dog on his little bed there watching the big screen. Sydney in the Dry. So thanks very much for that from Jesse McKenzie, cheering on Chris Head and the Moosehead Dry. So keep them coming, emails and tweets. Live and interactive here on Bell Alliant Community 1. Jesse McKenzie on Twitter, Neaston, and Clark as well. Thank you very much, Clark. Checking in on that tweet. Slowly getting it together here. We had a busy early innings trying to get the broadcast working for you. Storyline so far, manufacturing of the runs for the Moosehead Dry. Twice now and be able to punch one across on RBI hits from Dan Como.
45, Ken Long.
So Dan Como, the offensive star, and the star on the mound for the Dry has been Matt McDonald. He'll go out there for his 6th inning of work. And again, here's Kenny Long. Kenny flew out to center field in the first. A pitch on the outside corner for McDonald. So here's Long. He's been with the Sooners a long time as a pitcher and a position player. Significant member of that championship team from last year. Right up the middle. McDonald couldn't glove it down, and that's a solid knock for Kenny. So put Long at first base, and here comes Corey Christie. You mentioned that Chris Head, the offensive leader of that Dry attack. Here's the straw that stirs the drink for the Sooners, Corey Christie. He's your 2012 MVP. This is right where the Sooners want to be at this point. Runner at first, nobody out. Corey Christie at the plate with big Justin Brewer coming up. So Christie stands in. From the stretch comes McDonald. That's low and inside. Kenny Long down there at first base. They're 1-0. That's outside. So a nice hitting count here for Corey Christie. Long down there at first has a normal lead. Here comes your 2-0 to Christie. Runner holds. Christie fishing. Kind of extends to try to get one on the outside corner on a 2-0 pitch and swings over the top of it. Corey will step out and try to settle himself down. 2-1 pitch coming up for Christie. Sooners trying to get in the standings with a win. 0-2 now after those losses yesterday. Moosehead Dry undefeated so far. Top of the 6th from Beasley. And Christie out in front of that one. A beautiful off-speed pitch here for Matt McDonald. He needs 1 strike away from retiring Christie. 2-2. From the stretch, here comes McDonald. Christie, again, looking uncomfortable up there. Manages to just get enough of it. Little number that goes foul down the first base line. Here's your look down the third base line with camera girl Isabelle Germain. 2-2. And way out in front again is Christie. Frustrating at bat for Corey. Never seemed comfortable there after those first 2 pitches. Curveball that fools Christie. He'll strike out Corey. Now 0 for 3. That's the first out of the inning. Here's Justin Brewer. Justin grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Big slugging first baseman. Trying to get Kenny Long moving. That's high and outside. Brewer looks down to the third base coach, gets his sign. Digs back in there. 5 shutout innings so far from McDonald. Here's your 0-1. 0-2. Sorry, I thought that first pitch was a ball, but it was called a strike apparently. 0-2. Umpire very discreet with his strike calls. A throw over to first. Steve Betts checking in from Cole Harbour, former big slugging third baseman and first baseman in the Nova Scotia Intermediate or the Halifax Intermediate League. Played a lot of senior baseball in New Brunswick as well. So great to have Steve with us. That's a shot down to third base. Como. Doodle! And a nice pick by Greg West. A double play for the Moosehead Dry. 6-4-3.
6th inning, no runs, 1 hit.
And that'll do it here for the Sooners in the top of the 6th. So Como to Doodle and a nice pick by Greg West down there at first base. And that'll do it for Sydney. They get 1 hit. Inning started out looking good for the Sooners. But a strikeout of Corey Christie and a double play by Justin Brewer, and that's really not the production they're looking for from 3 and 4 hitters. So a tough inning there for Christie and Brewer. So the Dry lead the champs here, 2-0. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, Scott Harrison coming up, Chris Gallivan, and Matt Harding. Again, you're watching the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League on Bell Alliant Community One, your leader in local sports webcasting in Atlantic Canada. We're with you Tuesday from Halifax, Mainland Common. The Truro Bearcats, our first look at the Bearcats this year. They will be at Mainland for a date with the Canadians. 7:30 is your first pitch from Mainland. And that is a weather permitting game. Showers are in the forecast. Of course, this is Halifax, so we'll see what happens with that, but keep that on your radar. And if there is baseball, then we'll be there. We were there Tuesday for our premiere broadcast from Mainland Common, and a 5-1 victory in that one for the Moosehead Dry in a game that was eventually called due to fog in the 7th. That is a frequent problem at Mainland Common, that fog rolling in. So again, tweets, emails, hope to hear from you. You guys in Dubai, North Sydney, Tracadie in New Brunswick, the River Ryan, Jess McKenzie, watching us on the big screen there. Steve Betts in Cole Harbour. Steve, one of the great local broadcasters as well in Atlantic Canada. And they say chicks dig the long ball. Steve Betts could certainly supply the power back in his playing days.
Designated hitter number 33, Scott Harrison.
Frequently led the Metro Intermediate League in batting average and home runs. There's Scott Harrison. That pitch inside. So one strike here on Scott Harding. That's on the outside black. 0-2 coming up on Scott Harrison, sorry. Popped out to shortstop in the first inning and grounded out to second back in the third. Pitch high. 1-2 coming up on Harrison. Harrison the DH today. Chris Gallivan will follow, and then Matt Harding. Should anybody reach Matt Doodley. So bottom of the order action coming up for the Dry here in the bottom of the 6th. Two and two. Ian Eddy out there for his 6th inning of work. Getting just enough there. Where's Harrison? Swung over the top of it. Manages to stay alive. Betsy checking in on Twitter. And that's a tough pitch. It looked like it was going to hit Harrison to begin, and then just at the last second broke in and just got the inside part of the plate. Scott Harrison does not agree. Scott was left standing up looking at that one. Maybe the best pitch of the game so far for Ian Eddy. That was a beauty. Here's Chris Gallivan. His last at bat in the 4th inning. Chris grounded out to shortstop. That's off the end of the bat and down the third base line. And no problem out there in left field for Ken Long. So good hustle by Long to get over there. Makes the easy catch.
Number 30, Matt
That'll do it for Gallivan. And here's Matt Harding. Harding grounded out to third in the 2nd inning. Flew out to right field back in the 4th. So 0-2 so far for Matt. Josh Forrest, Phil Brown, and Jeff McKinnon coming up in the top of the 7th. Sooners Try to get the offense going. Starting to run out of time here. Ryan Eddy's pitched a gem. And actually, he's going to get the jersey here of Matt Harding. So just grazes the sleeve. Matt Harding going with the extra large shirt. Coming in handy for that pitch. Got just enough of the sleeve, and he'll get a
Shortstop,
free base.
number 11, Matt Dudelay.
So put Matt Harding down at first. That's the second hit batter of the game for Ryan Eddy. Here's Matt Dudelay. Scored the game's first run on that hard hit down to second base that took the wicked hop and got over the head of Josh Forrest. And then in center field. Nice bunt. Dudelay. No play for Corey Christie. Gorgeous bunt for Dudelay. Laid down perfectly on the third base line. Christie never had a chance. So a single for Dudelay.
Center fielder, number 4, Chris Head.
And now with 2 out, the Dry again are in business. Runners at second and first. Chris Head at the plate. Head has reached safely in all 3 at-bats. A single in the first, a walk in the second, and then hit by a pitch in the 5th. And that proved costly for the Sooners. Head would come around to score on the double by Dan Como. Como, the offensive leader for the Dry so far. He's got the 2 RBIs on the single and the double. So runners at second and first. Here's Chris Head. Just inside. 1-0 on Chris. Dan Como would come back up. Should Chris Head be able to reach? That's low and inside, and now a nice count here for Chris Head, 2-0. We'll see what he does with this pitch. One of the most pivotal pitches of the ball game coming up. A 2-0 to Head with runners at second and first, 2 outs. 2-0 for the Dry in the bottom of the 6th. Just on the outside black, and 2-1. Chris Head taken all the way. Dry looking to open this one up. Head. Little nubber. Drops in front of Brown. Coming around to score will be Harding. And then the ball thrown away, and Matt Dudelay is going to try to score. Safe at home is Dudelay. Head's going to take third as the Sooners are throwing the ball around, and Chris Head is going to score standing up. And in one play, this thing has opened wide up. 3 runs come home, and it is 5-0. Harding,
Third baseman, number 41,
Dudelay,
Como.
Head, all score. And just like that, it is 5-0. Started out harmless enough. It looked like it was going to be an RBI single for Chris Head, which it was. Dropped in front of Brown. Harding scored standing up. But then the Sooners started to throw the ball around the infield. And Dudelay, Chris Head come home and score. And now a pitcher's battle has turned into a 5-run lead for the Dry. A funny game. A little duck snort by Chris Head. And just like that, the Dry have a commanding lead. Of course, good heads-up base running as well by Dudelay and Head as the Sooners were throwing it around. There's a curveball, gets the inside corner on Como. Now, up to this point, Como had been the offensive leader with the 2 RBIs. So two RBIs for Camo, an RBI for Head, and then the other 2 runs scoring on errors. Certainly, that's a tough fate for Iannetti. He pitched really well and made a great pitch to Head. But Chris got just enough off the hands to find open field. That's high off the bat of Camo out to right field. No problem out there. And that'll do it as Jeff McKinnon brings it in. But some sloppy play by the Champs, and the Dry take full advantage. And it's a 5-run ball game. So we'll go to the 7th. Time running out for the Sooners. Josh Forrest, Phil Brown, and Jeff McKinnon coming up. We'll take a quick break.
2 hits, 2 Sydney errors. No Dartmouth runners left on base. After 6 complete innings of play, Dartmouth will take out 5. Sydney, no score.
All right, friends, welcome back to the Ball Yard. We're here at Beasley Field in beautiful Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Going to the top of the 7th inning between the Sydney Sooners, the defending NSSBL champs, and
Dartmouth Moosehead Dry.
Dartmouth Moosehead Dry.
Number 17, Doug Quick.
Doug Quick into pitch here for the Dry. So you can close the book on Matt McDonald. No runs given up by Matt through 6 innings. We'll try to work on his numbers here. Just giving a quick look over. About 4 hits, it looks like, given up by Matt McDonald. There's a bouncing ball that goes foul down the third base line. Couple walks in the 5th for McDonald. But it looks like it was 2 or 3 hits at the most. 1, 2, 5, 6 strikeouts for McDonald. So 6 strikeouts, 6 shutout innings. And that'll close the book on Matt McDonald. Here is Doug Quick. Big, long, and lean right-hander on the mound here for the Moosehead Dry. Middle of the order. Late middle, I should say. Josh Forrest leading off. Phil Brown and Jeff McKinnon. Or Matt Denny, sorry. Denny, Forrest, and Brown coming up. That's inside on Denny. So a nice count coming up here from Matt. 3-1. Sooners need base runners. They're on the verge of being swept out of Dartmouth. That is hit high into the air. Out to deep shortstop. Dudelet on the chase. It's going to drop in between Dudelet and Head and Gallivan. Craig West gets over to first base. Matt Denny could have probably easily taken second base there. But again, that's why even risk it. They just need base runners right now. And they got one in the form of Matt Denny. So Denny the single, And here comes Josh Forrest. He'll try to keep the line moving here. Brown is next. McKinnon in the hole. So a base runner right away for Doug Quick. That's right down the middle of the plate for strike one. Top of the seventh, 5-0 for the Dry. Again, we're back at Mainland Common on Tuesday night for the Bearcats and the Canadians. That's in the dirt. And taking second will be Matt Denny. So a wild pitch there for Quick. He can move Matt Denny to second base. Doodley holding Denny a little bit there to second. Good lead for Denny, and swinging kind of a tomahawk chop there on that one for Josh Forrest. Looking all out of sorts on that pitch. Here comes your 1-2. So Josh takes his time, try to settle down after that. How easily would have given Forrest a 2-1 count. Instead, he's now looking at a 2-strike pitch here coming up from the stretch for Quick. And that's right down the middle of the plate for strike three. So frustration there for Forrest. Took a wild swing at one and then stared one down right down the middle of the plate.
Phil Brown.
Here's Phil Brown. Played an outstanding center field today. Grounded out in the second inning. Walked back in the fifth and got stranded. That pitch is high. So a runner at second, one out. That's on the outside. Black. 1-1. Here's your 1-1. Curveball. Finds the plate. Now 1-2 here on Brown. So Quick starting to work his way out of this thing. 1-2. Bounce down the first base line. Just foul. And just foul. Craig West was there. Would have had a play. Darren Doucette checking in. Of course, Darren, the long-time slugger. Kind of been the face of the league for a long time. He's been a fixture on this Dry team. Couldn't make the games this weekend. Checking in on the webcast. Thanks very much to Darren Doucette. And hoping that the Dry can pull out the brooms here. Again, on the verge, 12-4, 5-1 victories yesterday. 5-0 here in the seventh. Sooners trying to get to work. Here comes your pitch to Brown. That's fouled off, so Brown will stay alive. Just off the outside of the plate. First base is open. Jeff McKinnon on deck. That is a ball. Phil Brown gets the walk.
Right fielder number 14, Jeff McKinnon.
So the 3-2 pitch just outside, put Brown at first base. Matt Denny still at second. Jeff McKinnon, the right fielder. McKinnon struck out in the third. Walked back in the fifth. That's high and just off the plate. comes your 1-0 pitch. Catches the inside corner. 1-1. Denny at second. Phil Brown at first. And a high pitch over the head of McKinnon. Now 2-1. This is a big inning here. The Sooners need some runs. Quick pitching his first inning in relief of McDonald, who was pretty much untouchable at times through 6. No runs surrendered. 6 strikeouts for McDonald. Right down the heart of the plate and swinging through it is McKinnon. There comes Quick. Just off the plate. Back to a full count here. This is the second full count pitch of the inning for Quick. The last one he ended up walking. Phil Brown. Biggest pitch of the ball game so far for the Sooners at the plate. I'm going to take their time with it, make sure they got the signal right down there from the third base coach. Here comes your 3-2. Hit into center field. Chris Head gets back on it right in front of the track. No problem. And Matt Denny will get back to second base. The ball bouncing off a doodle. So hit pretty well. But just in front of the track out there, no problem for Chris Head. Duncan McDougall. Duncan reached on a walk back in the third, but got picked off at first base. Got caught leading the wrong way. Stumbled trying to get back and was easy pickings for Greg West down there. On the pickoff throw by Matt McDonald. First pitch high and outside. McDougall the DH. That pitch just outside as well. So 2-0. Sooners just desperate for a gapper. Something hit hard down the line. Anything to breathe some life into this offense. They haven't quite had that one big hit yet. Get fired up about. That's just on the outside of the plate. So 2-1. Quick comes set, comes to the plate. Inside, 3-1. Set up nicely here is McDougall. He's going to see if he can drive one. Maybe he'll see if Quick can come off the plate with it and try to load the bases. 2 outs. Sooners trail by 5. Strike 2. It was close. That's the second time Quick in this at bat has just painted that outside corner. And here is your third full count pitch of the inning. Once again, the count is full. Runners at second and first. There are 2 out. Hit sharply, just foul down the third base line. So McDougall a little tardy. I'll do it again on 3-2. Ten after 3 here in Beasley. On an unseasonably cool day. Temperatures around 9-10 degrees. Wind not a huge factor, blowing gently from left to right on your screen. Your 3-2 again. Bouncing ball. Tough throw. West. And they just in time down at first base. So Matt Dudelay had to wait on it. Lets one fire. And he gets McDougall by a step. And a bit of an argument down there. The first base umpire. I think we're going to get an argument here from the Sooners skipper. Gonna stroll over there and have a discussion with the first base umpire, but that'll do it for Sydney.
There's 2 Sydney runners left on base.
So 2 left on base for Sydney. No runs come across. And we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Still in a 5-0 game. Greg West coming up. Mark Phillips and Justin Stevens here from Beasley Field. You're watching the NSSBL on Bell Alliant Community One, your leader in local sport webcasting in Atlantic Canada. Live and interactive. Make sure you reach out to us. community1sports@gmail.com and B. McLean Sports on Twitter. Hope to hear from you throughout the game. Thanks to everybody who's reached out so far. Again, we'll do it again on Tuesday night from Halifax Mainland Common. The Truro Bearcats, our first look at the Bearcats this year versus the Canadians. We saw the Pelham Canadians last week in that 5-1 loss to the Dry. So far, the Dry have had good luck on Community One. The 5-1 victory last week at Mainland Common. And so far, 5-0 here in this one. Bottom of the 7th, West, Phillips, Stevens. Should anybody reach Scott Harrison? Again, make sure you check out East Coast Sports Show. It makes its debut tomorrow on the network. You can watch it on the website, bellalliant.net/community1, or on demand on your Bell Alliant Fiber Op TV package. Bill McLean with you here from Beasley Field. Isabel Germain is our camera person. Drew DeMocus, our producer. Here is Greg West. Greg walked back in the first.
Now pitching for Sydney, number 2, Nate Brewer.
Nate Brewer into the game here. So the left-hander, Nate Brewer, pitching for Sydney. Greg grounded out to second back in the 5th inning. Here's your 1-1 pitch. Just off the plate. Been a busy day for Greg in the field. He's had to make a lot of pick plays there down at first base. Again, trying to hustle back to get it was Matt Denny. Made a nice play in the first inning. But that one goes over the backstop. Should mention special thanks to the Dartmouth Moosehead Drive Baseball Club, all their help with us getting set up here and making this broadcast happen. And again, make sure you spread the word. Get out there and tweet it and retweet. The Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League on Bell Alliant Community One all summer long. Get the word out there. Incredible products. Try to get as many people watching as we can. Just off the outside of the plate, Greg West has himself a walk here in the 7th inning. So nobody out. Greg West on first base. And here comes Mark Phillips. Phillips walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. That's a strike right down the middle of the plate. Phillips thought it was a little low. Here comes your 0-1 pitch. From the stretch is Brewer. A little off-speed pitch off the outside of the plate that Phillips swings through. Now 0-2. Hit right back up the middle sharply. That's a solid knock for Phillips. Give him his first hit of the game, and Greg West will advance to second.
The catcher, number 35, Justin Stevens.
So the dry once again in business. Greg West at second, Mark Phillips at first with his first hit of the game. Here's Justin Stevens. Been a frustrating game for Justin. The 2 strikeouts, and he flew out to center field. Swings through that one off the outside of the plate. The wind's starting to howl a little bit here. Again, kind of moving from left to right on your screen. There's a curved ball that goes into the dirt. 1-1. Frigid day here. Again, in Dartmouth. For this time of the year. Temperatures around 8 or 9 degrees. Sun has peeked out at times, but hasn't stayed long enough. Of course, these guys had that doubleheader last night, playing late into the night. It was cold here at Beasley. Bouncing ball down the third base line. Christie, Forrest, and unable to finish it off there down at first base was Justin Brewer. The throw was a little bit low. It just went off the mitt. Couldn't quite corral it.
Designated hitter number 33,
But they will get the out at second.
Harrison.
So Christie gets Phillips at second base. But the relay throw comes up a little bit short. So 1 out. And retire Phillips at second. Put Stevens down at first. And move Greg West to third. West at third. Stevens at first. Here's Scott Harrison. Harrison popped out to shortstop. Grounded out to second. Another bouncing ball for Christie. They'll try it again. Forrest, can they complete it this time? They do. Brewer's got that one. A good throw by Forrest. Nice turn. So not once, but twice. They do get it.
For your Dartmouth Blue State Dry in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
And Harrison
No runs,
rounds into the
6-4-3.
6-4-3.
No Sydney errors. 1 Dartmouth runner left on base.
Christie,
After 7 complete
Forrest,
innings of
Brewer.
play,
And that'll do it for the dry.
Dartmouth Blue State Drive 5.
In the bottom of the
Sydney
7th.
Sooners, no score.
All right, let's go to the 8th. Back to the top of the order here, assuming all the starters come out. Chris Farrow, Ken Long, and Corey Christie are expected. As mentioned, East Coast Sports Show makes its debut tomorrow. And that's on demand on your Bell Alliant fiber op package. And also at bellalliant.net/community1. And next week, on next week's show, that's 8 days from now, you'll be able to see an interview with Corey Christie. We're going to interview the 2012 MVP after the game. So make sure you check for that. Coming up on tomorrow's show, the premiere episode, we're in Fredericton with runners participating in the Fredericton Marathon. What a great event that was. And we're also in St. John's, Newfoundland. Chris Abbott from St. John's visits with young and up-and-coming volleyball talent there in Newfoundland, visiting with some of the players at the Newfoundland selection camp for provincial volleyball. That's East Coast Sports Show. It makes its debut tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. And again, remember, emails and tweets, keep them coming. Spread the word. BellAlliant.net or BellAlliant Community One. The Nova Scotia Senior Sports or the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League all year long. Right down the middle. Doug Quick out there for a second inning of work. Between him and McDonald, they're working on a shutout. Bo Chason. Thank you very much, Bo Chason, checking in on Twitter. Thank you for those kind words. Here comes your 2-1 pitch. Time running out for the Sooners team. Over the top of that one is Farrow. Been a tough day for Chris. Struck out looking twice and then grounded out to second base back in the 5th. 2-2 pitch. Here's Doug Quick. That's outside, so 3-2. Sooners had something going there last inning, but couldn't get anybody home. Again, they just haven't had that one big hit. That one gapper or something that could bring some runs home. In business again here, Chris Farrow walks. He's on base for the first time in the game. So give Chris Farrow the walk. Information on your screen, B. McLean Sports on Twitter. CommunityOneSports@gmail.com.
Left fielder number 45, Ken Long.
Tweet, retweet, email. Get the word out there. The boys of summer. All summer long right here on Community One. We'll be back at Halifax on Tuesday for the Canadians and the Bearcats. Starting out at Mainland Common and Beasley, but we'll be at every park this year. We're ready to go at the TAC in Truro and, of course, that beautiful park in Kentville. And we'll be in Sydney as well at Susan McEachran. Here's Kenny Long. Corey Christie will follow. So the heart of the order coming up here for the Sooners with no outs and a man at first. That's just off the plate, 1-1. Long flew out to center. Got a hit back in the 6th, but got stranded. Here comes your 1-1. Throw over to first. They have their second pick of the game. They do. Once again, a Sydney Sooner is picked off at first. This time it's Chris Farrow. Doug Quick with the pickoff. And for the second time this game, the Sooners have maybe ran themselves out of a great scoring chance. 2 pickoffs at first base. This time it is Farrow. There's the bouncing ball to shortstop. Dudelet picks it up. Might be too late. It is. West couldn't get it out of the ground anyways. So that'll be an error on Matt Dudelet.
Third baseman number 16, Corey Christie.
So E6 put Ken Long at first base. And here's Corey Christie. And Christie had the 2 singles and a double for 2 RBIs in yesterday's game, that 12-4 loss. Here's your 0-0 pitch to Christie. Way off the outside of the plate. Want to know to Christie. Off the end of the bat, back to the backstop. You can see it come close to our camera there. Give the camera a little shake. Stationary camera behind the plate. And Isabel Germain down the third base line. There's a good look at the camera that Isabel's operating. Of course, Izzy, my co-host on East Coast Sports Show. Great young hockey broadcasters in the region. Christie swings through another pitch. I don't know if Christie knows we've got our East Coast Sports Show cameras on him. This is the second time we've been getting some footage of him down there at the plate. And the second time, he's just hasn't looked comfortable. Digging in. Here comes your 1-2. Curves, but low. Came across the plate, but into the dirt. Christie works it to a 2-2 count. And this is the 2012 MVP. Grounded out in the first, popped out in the fourth, struck out in the sixth. Here's your 2-2. And Corey gets into one. But Head back there, looks like he's under it at the track. And Head gets under it. Well, Corey shows the power, but once again, he has his second fly out to center field. Chris Head saw that one the whole way. So Justin Brewer back up. 2 outs. And Kenny Long still at first base. Brewer struck out in the fourth. Grounded out to short in the second. Big looping curveball that Brewer gets out in front of. That one's into the dirt as well. So Quick on the verge of getting into this inning. McDonald pitched 6. Quick has gone 1 2/3. High and off the plate and swinging under it is Brewer. Top of the 8th. Here's your 1-2 pitch to Big Justin. That's way off the plate. Dry leading by 5. Chris Gallivan, Matt Harding, and Matt Dudelay due up in the bottom of the inning. That's tipped off. End of the bat. It's still 2-2 here on Brewer. That wind's starting to pick up. That's high and outside. We got a full count. Well, this has been the order of the day for Quick. A lot of full count pitches. I think this is his 4th since coming in. Long at first base, he's on the go. Slow bouncing ball to Dudelay. Tough hop. Strong throw. Scooped up again by West. Greg West has been busy down there, and once again, he has the scoop play.
1 Dartmouth error. 1 Sydney runner left on base.
To finish off this inning. So, no runs or no hits. 1 left on base, no runs. Brewer goes 6-3, and that'll do it for the Sooners in the 8th inning. Time is running out. The Dry on the verge of a sweep at Beasley. Gallivan, Harding, Dudelay, all coming up on Bella Line. Community 1, your leader and local sports webcasting in Atlantic Canada. We got a busy summer coming up for you. Coming up in June, we have the Canadian Track and Field Championships from beautiful Moncton. That's the last weekend in June. Soccer Atlantic Championships coming up from 4 different cities over 2 weekends. That's in late June and early July. The Canadian Junior National Championships will be here at Beasley, and we will be here for all the games. So join us for that. That's in mid-August. And the Canadian Senior Baseball National Championships from St. John's, Newfoundland. We got those for you too. Make sure you bookmark Bell Aligned Community One on your browser. Atlantic Canadian local sport all summer long. We got Eastern Canadian Ball Hockey Championships coming up from St. John, New Brunswick. Fast Pitch Championships from PEI in late August. And of course, the senior circuit here in Nova Scotia, the NSSBL, all summer long. Here's Chris Gallivan. Chris flew out to left field in his last at bat. A pitch low and inside on Chris. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Nate Brewer out there for his second inning of work, and that's going to be off the backside of Chris Gallivan. That's a good place to take one. And off-speed pitch as well to boot. So that's an easy trip down to first base for Chris Gallivan.
Left fielder number 30, Matt Harding.
That's the third batter hit by a pitch by the Sooners. Head got hit, Harding got hit, and Gallivan now. There's Matt Harding. As mentioned, Matt got hit by that pitch back in the 6th and then would come around to score on that wacky play by the Sooners where Chris Head just muscled it into short center to bring home one run, but then the Sooners started to throw the ball around. Made 2 throwing errors, and that's been the difference. A close, well-pitched ball game turned into a commanding 5-run lead in about 15 seconds. That's off the top of the bat and back towards the backstop. 0-2 now on Harding. Here's your 0-2. Just off the outside of the plate. Nate Brewer. Comes your 1-2 pitch. Just low. Making his way back into the count here is Matt Harding. 2-2. Mainland Common on Tuesday night, the Bearcats and the Canadians. 7:30, first pitch. Weather permitting. Join us then. This is the link you'll have all summer long for the game, so make sure you bookmark it. Meanwhile, Matt Harding has worked his way to a full count after the initial 0-2 count. Pass ball. Going down to second is Gallivan. Now Matt Harding with no out has an RBI chance. And that is low, so 4 straight pitches, 4 balls. And down to first goes Matt Harding. Here's Matt Dudelet.
Shortstop, number 11, Matt Dudelet.
2 runs scored today for Matt. Flew out to center field in the 4th. 2 hits in this game for Matt as well. He's had himself a good weekend from the plate. And another wild pitch here on Brewer. And going down to third is Gallivan. Matt Harding will stay at first. Of course, the Sooners, that one team in the league that plays their baseball in bunches every time they play. It's a 3-game set with a doubleheader. Getting under it is Denny. A nice play by Matt. That was not easy, but manages to locate it And that's a second nice play that Denny has made behind the plate. So Dudelet pops out in foul ground to the catcher. That's your first out of the game, or of the inning. Here's Chris Head. Another busy day for Chris. Has reached safely all 3 times. Of course, again, the 6th inning was the big inning, when Chris just had a little duck snort out to center field that fell in to score Matt Harding, give him an RBI, and then 2 runs coming around, including Chris Head, as the Sooners made 2 throwing errors. Dan Como will follow. That's low and inside. Here comes your 1-1. Curveball. Catches the inside of the plate. So 1-2 count for Chris Head with a runner at third base. Bouncing ball to shortstop. They'll be lucky to get Chris here. They do. Gorgeous play down there at shortstop. They get Chris Head. Chris Farrow. A slow bouncing ball, and he makes a strong throw on the run to get Chris Head. But a run will come home. 6-0 now for the Moosehead Dry. So 6-3, Chris Head is out. But give him an RBI. Moving down to second base is Matt Harding. And here's Dan Como. Of course, Como, again, had the single and the double early on, both cashing runs. And he was the offensive impetus for the Dry in the early going. Their 0-1 pitch from Nate Brewer. Another curveball. That gets past Matt Denny. If you've ever been to Beasley Field, it is a long way from the plate to the backstop. So that ball gets past you. You got a long ways to go to get it if you're the catcher.
As they host the Kentville Wildcats.
So come on. Again. Popped out there in the first inning. But an RBI single, an RBI double, and then flew out to right field back in the 6th. Here's your 1-1. Inside and off the plate. 2-1. Hit sharply down the third base line, and jumping to get out of the way is Matt Harding. And it goes foul. Como turned on that inside pitch. Couldn't keep it between the lines. 2-2. 2 out. Here comes your 2-2. High bouncing ball. Once again, Farrow's got to hurry. And 2 nice plays by Farrow in a row, and that'll do it for the Moosehead Dry here in the 8th inning. Gets Head, and then gets Dan Como. Tough plays. But a great job by the Sooners shortstop. And we will go to the 9th inning. 6-0 for the Moosehead Dry.
1 hit. Correction, no runs, no hits. 1 run, no hits. No Sydney
Oh, sorry,
errors.
check. I'm getting them mixed up too.
Runner left on
1
base.
run. Six nothing. 6-0 for the Drive. So six. Yeah, 6-0. Yeah.
Rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement.
Oh, is that right?
Rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement.
Is it?
Scott Harrison. Now batting for
All right,
Sydney,
friends,
the
welcome
catcher,
back.
number 20, Matt
We're at the top of the
Denny.
9th inning. The Moosehead Dry on the verge of the sweep here at Beasley. Scott Harrison on the mound. So Scott Harrison takes over. McDonald pitched 6. Quick pitched 2 innings. Doug Quick. Now to finish things off is Scott Harrison. Hit hard out into left field, but no problem out there for Matt Harding. There's your first out of the
Center
inning.
baseman number 44, Josh Forrest.
So Denny flies out
Again,
to
your
left
number
field.
two said
Here's
driver
Josh
return
Forrest.
active here this Thursday with a start time of 7:30 p.m. at the Kempo
Of course, as
Wildcats,
they're mentioning here on the PA, make sure you come out Thursday night if you're in the area. Moosehead Dry and the Wildcats, 7:30 start from Beasley. Our next game on Community 1, Tuesday night from Mainland Common. The Bearcats and the Dry, and the Canadians. Saw the Canadians last week against the Dry, our second time seeing the Dry. First time seeing Sydney, and then Tuesday night will be our first look at the Bearcats. So the Wildcats making their debut soon. 1-1. Right down the heart of the plate now, 1-2. Forrest struck out in the 7th, flew out to right field, and now a bouncing ball. And now 4-3. I'll go Josh Forrest. No problem down there for Chris Gallivan.
Center fielder number 24, Phil Brown.
And the Sooners down to their last out. Here's Phil Brown. Right at Chris Gallivan, and no problem. He'll put that one away.
Your Dartmouth Blue
So
Jays drive
Gallivan
6,
finishes this one off
Sydney, no score.
on the line drive
Dartmouth sweeps the 3-game
by
weekend
Phil Brown.
set. The Dartmouth Blue Jays Drive, thank you for your support. Encourage a safe trip home, and we'll see you back here on Thursday night as we take on the Wildcats.
And your final score from Beasley, 6-0 for the Moosehead Dry. They will sweep this weekend series with the Sooners. 5-1, 12-4, and 6-0 convincing sweep for the Dry. Friends, you have been watching a presentation of Bell Alliant Community 1, your leader in local sport webcasting in Atlantic, Canada. The Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League all summer long. We'll see you on Tuesday night from Halifax at the Mainland Common, the Truro Bearcats versus the Canadians. That is a 7:30 start, 7:30 first pitch from Mainland on Tuesday night. The Bearcats and the Canadians. But for now, 6-0 for the Dry. Have yourselves an outstanding Sunday, and goodbye from Beasley Field.